Send Help is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
We're somewhere in the Gulf of Thailand.
Getting us out of here should be your focus. I'm your boss. You work for me.
We're not in the office anymore.
It's bold, relentless, and endlessly rewatchable. Discover why critics give it 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
You're so fired.
Oh, am I? No help is coming.
Send Help, rated R, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Meet the new iSims, the single talent acquisition platform that's fully future-ready. It works wherever and however you hire, with insights no one else offers. One solution that fits seamlessly into your existing tech stack, which is why IT and HR leaders trust it. With the best of enterprise-grade software and AI, iSims helps you identify and secure the right talent faster. iSims, powering exceptional hiring. Learn more at isims.com.
When most people think of Japanese ghosts, they picture a pale woman in a white burial kimono, her long black hair hanging over her face, silently emerging from the darkness. It's an image that has appeared in countless horror films, manga, anime, and urban legends. From classics like Kwaidan to modern films such as Ringu and Ju-on, the image of the Japanese ghost has become known around the world. But these terrifying figures are not simply monsters. They are known as Yurei, and they occupy a unique place in Japanese culture. They are not demons, devils, or evil spirits in the Western sense. Instead, they are often tragic figures, souls unable to find peace because something remains unresolved in the world of the living. Tonight, we'll explore what Yurei are, where the belief comes from, the common traits that define them, and some of the most famous ghost stories in Japanese history. My name is Kevin O'Shea, and this is Supernatural Japan. The word Yurei can be translated simply as ghost or spirit of the dead. Yet, the concept is much more specific than that. In traditional Japanese belief, heavily influenced by both Buddhism and Shinto, death is not necessarily the end of a person's journey. When someone dies, their spirit is expected to pass on and join the ancestors. Through proper funeral rites, prayers, and memorial services, the soul can make the transition peacefully. A Yurei is what happens when that process goes wrong. Perhaps the person died violently. Perhaps they were murdered, betrayed, abandoned, or consumed by overwhelming emotions such as hatred, jealousy, grief, or love. And sometimes a body was never properly buried, and sometimes a promise remained unfulfilled. Whatever the cause, the spirit becomes trapped between the worlds. Unable to move on, it remains among the living, often returning to the place of its suffering. Over centuries, Japanese artists, playwrights, and storytellers developed a remarkably consistent image of the Yurei. Traditionally, a Yurei is depicted wearing a white burial kimono. White was the color associated with death and funerary rituals in Japan. The spirit's hair is long, black, and unkempt. During the Edo period, women commonly wore their hair tied up, but the dead were often buried with their hair hanging loose, and this visual distinction became a powerful symbol of ghostly appearances. Many Yurei are shown floating rather than walking. In classic paintings and woodblock prints, they appear without visible feet. And this feature becomes so common that it remains one of the defining characteristics of Japanese ghosts today. They frequently appear at night, especially during times associated with spiritual activity such as midnight or during the summer Obon season, when ancestral spirits are believed to return to the world of the living. And most importantly, Yurei are driven by emotion. Unlike many Western ghosts that simply haunt locations, Japanese Yurei often have a purpose. They seek revenge, justice, closure, or recognition. They are bound to a story that remains unfinished. Not all Yurei are the same. One of the most feared varieties is the Onryo, or vengeful ghost, and these spirits return to punish those responsible for their suffering. Entire villages, noble families, and even governments were once believed to fear the wrath of powerful Onryo. Another type is the Ubume, a ghost of a woman who died during childbirth. These spirits are often portrayed carrying infants or seeking help for children left behind. There are also the Yūrei, ghostly spirits of those lost at sea. Now, fishermen throughout Japan have told stories of phantom boats appearing in fog-covered waters, crewed by the restless dead. And then there are the countless local variations, each tied to regional folklore and community history. Yurei are more than frightening stories. For centuries, ghost tales served as cautionary lessons about morality, social obligations, and the consequences of human actions. Many stories warn against betrayal, greed, cruelty, and broken promises, and others remind listeners of the importance of proper funeral rites and respect for the dead. In this sense, Yurei reflect cultural values. The ghost often appears because something has disrupted social harmony. The haunting continues until balance is restored. And these stories also provide a way for communities to process tragedy. Sudden deaths, disasters, murders, and betrayals could be understood through the framework of restless spirits seeking justice. Even today, many haunted locations in Japan are connected to real historical tragedies. The supernatural narrative often becomes a way of preserving memory and acknowledging past suffering. No discussion of Yurei would be complete without Oiwa. We covered this legend in episode 96 of the podcast, called Japan's Most Feared Ghost. Now, the story comes from Yotsuya Kaidan, perhaps the most famous ghost tale in Japanese history. Oiwa was the devoted wife of whose husband, Iemon, desired a more advantageous marriage, and to rid himself of her, he arranged for her to be poisoned. The poison horribly disfigured her face before ultimately causing her death. Afterward, Oiwa became a terrifying Onryo. Her spirit haunted Iemon relentlessly. He saw her face everywhere in lanterns, shadows, and reflections. Driven mad by guilt and fear, he ultimately met a tragic end. The story became one of the most popular kabuki plays ever performed and remains a cornerstone of Japanese horror. And many actors involved in productions of Yotsuya Kaidan still visit Oiwa's grave to pay their respects, fearing misfortune if they fail to do so. Another legendary Yurei is Okiku, and we covered this tale in the early days of supernatural Japan. In episode number 5, which was called The Ghost in the Well. Now, according to this tale, Okiku was a servant accused of losing one of 10 valuable plates belonging to her master. Now, whether she actually lost the plate varies depending on the version of the story. What remains constant is her fate. She was tortured, killed, and thrown into a well, and many believe this is a well located at Himeji Castle in Himeji, Japan. Now, after her death, her spirit emerged nightly, counting the plates aloud. 1, 2, 3. When she reached 9, she would let out a terrible scream because the 10th plate was missing. And the story became so famous that it inspired countless adaptations and eventually influenced modern horror traditions. The image of a ghost emerging from a well would later become globally recognizable through stories such as Ringu. One of Japan's most haunting ghost romances is the tale of Otsuyu. A young samurai falls deeply in love with a beautiful woman named Otsuyu, and night after night, she visits him carrying a peony lantern. Only later does she discover the horrifying truth. Otsuyu had died long before their meetings began. And unable to resist his love for her, the samurai continues seeing her until he ultimately joins her in death. This story combines romance and horror, demonstrating that not all Yurei are driven by vengeance. Some are motivated by longing, attachment, and the inability to let go.
Looking to see what's happening around your home? Ring's battery doorbell helps you track packages and see who's at your door in real time. The Outdoor Cam Plus protects your yard at night with a wide field of view and clearer Retinal 2K video. Or upgrade to 4K cameras and doorbells with Retinal Vision for ultra-clear zoom and detail. Your door, your yard, your home. With Ring, it's protected. Shop cameras, doorbells, and more at ring.com now.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Next, I want to read a short story called The Corpse Rider. And I'm going to read this to you all. And this is by Greek-Irish writer Lafcadio Hearn. And if you are a fan of Japanese history, you will know this name. Now, here's a little information about Lafcadio Hearn from the Visit Matsue official city tourism website. Lafcadio Hearn, who lived from 1850 to 1904, was an open-minded writer and world traveler born in Greece and raised in Ireland. He settled in New Orleans from 1877 to 1887 before immigrating to Japan in 1890. The same year, he settled in Matsue as an English teacher. Though he only stayed here for 15 months, he introduced Matsue and Japan to the Western world through his famous writings. His former residence and memorial museum are a must-see when you visit Matsue. Hearn is commemorated in various ways throughout Matsue, including monuments, literature, study groups, and an annual speech contest. Now, Lafcadio Hearn was one of the first Westerners to be granted Japanese citizenship and is best known in Japan under the name of Koizumi Yakumo. He took the family name of his wife, Koizumi Setsu, the daughter of a samurai whom he met in Matsue. He took Yakumo, Infinite Clouds, as his first name because of its connection to the Izumo region and Matsue, which he referred to as the chief city of the province of the gods. Now, he came back to visit the city many times after he moved to other parts of Japan. And now, I want to read a short story about a most terrifying Yurei. The story is called The Corpse Rider, and it is from the book Some Japanese Ghosts. Now, I picked up a copy of this book at the Kinokuniya bookstore in Umeda in Osaka, Japan last winter, and I've already read many of these stories to members over on our Patreon group. So here we go. The body was cold as ice. The heart had long ceased to beat. Yet there were no other signs of death. Nobody even spoke of burying the woman. She had died of grief and anger at being divorced. It would have been useless to bury her, because the last undying wish of a dying person for vengeance can burst asunder any tomb and lift the heaviest gravestone. People who lived near the house in which she was lying fled from their homes. They knew that she was only waiting for the return of the man who had divorced her. At the time of her death, he was on a journey, and when he came back and was told of what had happened, terror seized him. If I can find no help before dark, he thought to himself, she will tear me to pieces. It was yet only the hour of the dragon, but he knew that he had no time to lose. He went at once to an Iyoshi and begged for succor. The Iyoshi knew the story of the dead woman. and he had seen the body. He said to the supplicant, "A very great danger threatens you. I will try to save you, but you must promise to do whatever I shall tell you to do. There is only one way by which you can be saved, and it is a fearful way. But unless you find the courage to attempt it, she will tear you from limb to limb. If you can be brave, come to me again in the evening before sunset." The man shuddered, but he promised to do whatever should be required of him. At sunset, the inyoshi went with him to the house where the body was lying. The inyoshi pushed open the sliding doors and told his client to enter. It was rapidly growing dark. "I dare not," gasped the man, quaking from head to foot. "I dare not even look at her." "You will have to do much more than look at her," declared the inyoshi. "And you promise to obey. Go in." He forced the trembler into the house and led him to the side of the corpse. The dead woman was lying on her face. "Now you must get astride upon her," said the inyoshi, "and sit firmly on her back as if you were riding a horse. Come, you must do it." The man shivered so that the inyoshi had to support him. Shivered horribly, but he obeyed. "Now take her hair in your hands," commanded the inyoshi, "half in your right hand, half in the left. So, you must grip it like a bridle. Twist your hands in it, both hands tightly. That is the way. Listen to me. You must stay like this until morning. You will have reason to be afraid in the night, plenty of reason, but whatever may happen, never let go of her hair. If you let go, even for a second, she will tear you into gobbets." The inyoshi then whispered some mysterious words into the ear of the body and said to its rider, "Now, for my own sake, I must leave you all alone with her. Remain as you are. Above all things, remember that you must not let go of her hair." And he went away, closing the door behind him. Hour after hour, the man sat upon the corpse in black fear, and the hush of the night deepened and deepened about him till he screamed to break it. Instantly the body sprang beneath him as to cast him off, and the dead woman cried out loudly, "Oh, how heavy it is! Yet I shall bring that fellow here now." Then, tall, she rose and leaped to the doors and flung them open and rushed into the night, always bearing the weight of the man. But he, shutting his eyes, kept his hands twisted in her long hair, tightly, though fearing with such a fear that he could not even moan. How far she went he never knew. He saw nothing. He heard only the sound of her naked feet in the dark, pitcha, 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 and the hiss of her breathing as she ran. At last, she turned and ran back into the house and lay down on the floor, exactly as at first. Under the man, she panted and moaned till the cocks began to crow, and thereafter she lay still. But the man, with chattering teeth, sat upon her until the inyoshi came back at sunrise. "So, you did not let go of her hair," observed the inyoshi, greatly pleased. "That is well. Now you can stand up." And he whispered something again into the ear of the corpse, and then said to the man, "You must have passed a fearful night, but nothing else could have saved you. Hereafter, you may feel secure from her vengeance." The conclusion of this story I do not think to be morally satisfying. It is not recorded that the corpse rider became insane, or that his hair turned white. We are told only that he worshipped the inyoshi with tears in gratitude. A note appended to the recital is equally disappointing. It is reported, the Japanese author says, that a grandchild of the man who rode the corpse still survives, and that grandson of the inyoshi is, this very time, living in a village called Otokuno Mura, probably pronounced Otanoi Mura. The village name does not appear in any Japanese directory of today, but the names of many towns and villages have been changed since the foregoing story was written. Now, of course, this was written in an older style of English in the late 1800s, And for many people, when they think of a Yurei, they think of Ringu or Ju-on. But for me, when I think of a Yurei, I always think of this Lafcadio Hearn story, The Corpse Rider. It is absolutely terrifying. Although belief in ghosts varies widely today, Yurei remain deeply woven into Japanese culture. They appear in films, television dramas, anime, manga, video games, and seasonal ghost story events. Modern icons such as Sadako from Ringu or Kayako from Ju-on are direct descendants of traditional Yurei imagery. Their long black hair, pale appearance, and relentless supernatural presence all draw from centuries-old folklore. Even people who do not believe in ghosts often recognize the cultural significance of these stories. The Yurei continues to evolve, adapting to new fears while maintaining connections to ancient beliefs about death, memory, and unresolved emotion. At its heart, the Yurei is not simply a ghost. It is a reminder that some stories refuse to end. Whether seeking revenge, justice, love, or peace, these spirits embody the fears and emotions that linger long after death. They represent the idea that actions have consequences, that memories endure, and that the past can never be entirely buried. Perhaps that's why Yurei remains so compelling. Thanks for listening to Supernatural Japan. If you want to help our podcast grow, please leave an amazing review and rating wherever you listen to the podcast. Go for it, folks. On Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, it would really help us a lot. And to see what different Japanese Yurei look like, modern ones and ones from the past, please follow us on Instagram at Supernatural Japan, as well as our Facebook group. There are many cool photos, reels, and lots of spooky things over there on Instagram. Now, links are in the show notes, of course, and over at supernaturaljapan.com. Now, Supernatural Japan listeners, I am collecting primary research, so interviews, emails, and more from people who have had strange, supernatural, and unexplainable experiences in Japan. I'm talking to you guys. Now, if you have a story to share, you can DM me on any social media platform that I use, such as Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Facebook, whatever it may be. You can use the contact form over at supernaturaljapan.com, or you can email me at supernaturaljapan@gmail.com. I want to hear your stories, folks. I've already had a lot of incredible people reach out to me with very amazing stories. Now, if you'd like to support our show even more, check out the member sections over on our Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee pages. There are so many bonus podcasts and videos that only you can see if you become a member. You should do it. The links are in the show notes and over at supernaturaljapan.com. And I just really want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to download and listen to the show. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be making this podcast. So, Supernatural Japan listeners, beneath every haunting lies a human story. One that was never truly finished. And sometimes, according to Japanese folklore, the dead return to make sure it's finally heard.
Are you one of those media strategy people clicking through slides, scrolling spreadsheets? Yes? Good. This is for you. Because on Spotify, there's an audience that's different, locked in, loyal, invested. They're called fans. Fans don't just listen to music, they feel seen by it, like it belongs to them. So when your brand shows up on Spotify, that's who you're talking to. and you're right next to artists like me, Lizzo. So, are you ready to talk to fans? Spotify advertising. You're among fans.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people?
I've seen them.
Haunted military bases?
I've served on one.
Local restaurants with ghostly reputations?
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.